All right, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome. All right, so today, June 26, 2024. Next week, we're already in July, right? Unbelievable. All right, so hope everybody's doing well out there. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If you're, give me an A-OK on the audio, just one or two of you out there. Okay, great. All right, we got a pretty full room today, so we got quite a lot of people here. So feel free to start typing in your questions so I can see them before the session ends there. All right, we're gonna be together for about half an hour today. If you're new here, all right, there's no such thing as a bad question. All right, feel free to ask me anything. This is your webinar, okay? This is one that we do primarily to basically touch base with you every week, make sure you get your questions answered on a weekly basis. And I love doing these because it gives me a chance to interact with all you guys, okay? So great to be here. All right, let me go through my usual required administrational items here. All right, we have to tell you about the risks involved in trading. Nothing's guaranteed. It's possible to lose some or all your money trading the financial markets, especially if you don't know what you're doing, right? All right, so you want to be, of course, funding your account with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. That's super important. And know how to do or calculate your trade risk. Now, trade risk is different than normal risk. Trade risk is something we actually can control as traders. And we do it by varying our stop loss areas and, of course, varying our trade size. So when you initially take a trade, you're going to have your stop placed at a certain point. That's called your initial stop. Now, you can never lower that stop. All right, lowering that stop on a bullish trade would increase the risk. So once you do your calculations for trade size based on your initial stop and your initial entry, all right, you don't want to lower that stop again. Now, if the trade becomes profitable, you can trail the stop up, all right, eliminate the risk on the first trade, and then basically at that particular point, if the stop is high enough that it's above your initial entry on a bullish trade, you have eliminated the risk, right? Hopefully you'll get out at a little profit. But you could also add into the trade too, if you wanted to. And that's a good way of doing it because you want to maintain no more risk than the initial risk you decided at when you took the trade, which for most people is around 2%. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so that's really important. I've got books on how to do that, which I'll be glad to show you in just a moment. All right, so what about other risks? Okay, run everything by your financial advisor. I don't know your personal situation, they do, so I may recommend something. I think it's great, but it may not be suitable for everybody, okay? So definitely have that checked out. And finally, always fund your account with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. Now, there's something out there called prop firms. How many out there know what a prop firm is, okay? How many out there? Cliff, I see your question, and I will get to that. How many, okay, so Mark, you've heard of it? All right, anybody else? All right, well, prop firms, I actually have an account with Apex, and I like them a lot. And basically, there's some real benefits with going with a prop firm. The reason I'm bringing it up now is because this falls under the umbrella of risk. So for day trading, this is primarily for day traders, okay? I think they're going to come out with prop firms that are for position traders at some point for stocks, but it's a kind of an evolving industry right now. But I chose Apex because it was the first one of the first ones, and they do payouts, and they actually do them, okay? And it's a legit firm, okay, from everything I've researched. So I like them the best. I've got a lot of clients that use them. I use them, and I've had no problems with them. So I really like it. They're very affordable. And the nice thing is what you do is you start out with an evaluation account, all right? And the evaluation account basically is one where you can actually open up an account and you pay a subscription fee on a monthly ongoing basis. Now I'm gonna pop this up here for right now. I'm gonna give you a code and a link in the chat area if you wanna do this, because that's gonna give you a substantial amount, like 80% off on the subscription price. So definitely, if you're gonna do it, use that code and save a ton of money. But the nice thing is you get free data. So you get free intraday futures data. And right there, it's worth the amount of the subscription fee. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, If you're good at this, or you get good at it, and it takes time, if you get good at it at the day trading and you pass their requirements to prove to them that you're good at it, then they will actually move your account to what they call a funded account. You won't get charged anymore. And any money that you make in that funded account can be yours, okay? And there's a whole bunch of requirements and rules, but you know, if you're a good trader, then that's not a problem. So I highly recommend it for those people wanting to get into day trading. I know several of you have already done it, but you know, and then you can multiply the account. So in other words, once you have a winning system and you're winning on one account, you can get up to 20 accounts and multiply that wins. And there's guys out there that are making maybe 100, 200 bucks, 300 bucks a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they copy those trades. They have a copier, and you can copy those trades on 20 accounts. All right. So it can add up quite a lot. I mean, that can be, you know, if you had 10 accounts and you made 300, what are you going to have? 3,000 bucks. Not a bad day. Multiply that by 20 and you're at 6, right? So not such a bad deal, right? All right. So keep that in mind. All right. That's something if you're into day trading. Not everybody's into day trading. It's not easy. Okay. But that is a great, safe way to do it without risking any of your money. All right. Books, money management, books on money management. The Art of Trading, which I know everybody's waiting for. All right, second edition. It's finished. All right, 500 pages. It's a big boy. I added a lot of new material over the last 6 months, which kind of made it so big, but a lot to say. I pretty much did a brain dump on my entire trading career and what I found works and doesn't work in the market, so what you need to know. So it's all in there. All right, it may be 550, depending on their layout, I don't know. But it's a Macmillan-sized book, I think, at this point. Macmillan wrote the first foreword. I'm not even sure who's writing the first foreword on this one. I'd have to check. But in any case, there it is, and you can pre-order it, and you don't have to pay for it until it gets shipped. But the pre-order prices are probably pretty good. All right, art software. Many of you have it. If you can buy it a la carte. You can buy it as a bundle, and we cover it, all the time. We're here. And here's my little spurge on the Apex. This is what the Apex Trader account looks like. These are the average monthly compensations since January 2023. I took this screenshot a couple of weeks ago, so it's probably even more now. 11,048,000 total compensation to customers since 2022, 182 million, and total compensation to customers in the last 90 days, 70 million. So people are pulling money out of the markets, okay, once you learn how. All right, and the other thing too, and in learning how, the nice thing is when you get this evaluation account, it's a simulation account, basically. You can beat the hell out of it. You can practice, you can try new things. Don't be so concerned about getting funded. Instead, hone your skill until you got it. Because once you got a winning system, an edge, it's easy, okay? Because the byproduct of that, of course, is making money. All right, so the money will come once you have an edge. Take your time, work on your edge, okay? Stay away from gimmicks and work on things and learn. And it's okay to test different strategies during these evaluation periods to see what works, because that's how you learn, right? So in any case, I think it's a pretty good situation, and I'm recommending it to pretty much everybody I can. All right, what I want to do here, all right, so let me just address Cliff's comment here. When you quickly want to look at a sector chart or group chart for a specific stock, where do you get this information? Well, first thing I would probably do, all right, is, if it's a NASDAQ stock, you could go right over here to the, in the instrument area. In other words, when you right click on the chart and go instruments, okay, they have all the sectors down here. You have the NASDAQ 100, all right, and you can look to see if your stock's in there. They have, indexes. You can go more specific in the indexes. So go in here and experiment. All right. If you can't find it in there, Google, go to Google and type in what's the sector for stock XYZ, and it will tell you. Okay. But you'll be able to find it in here. So that's how you do it. Okay. And then you can develop a workspace around sectors. Okay. Is that good? All right. But that's how you do it. And what I would do is create a new workspace or a new tab for your sector. So you could just create one by clicking on the little tabs below here. So for example, let's just open up one chart here, okay? Let's click a tab. Let's put in, well, let's put NVIDIA in, right? Okay, let's put that bad boy in. All right, beautiful wave 3. Look at that, gotta love that, right? All right, so now if I wanted another tab, I would come down here, click on that, all right, and then go here, and I could put the put that in there, the comp up there, which basically is the NASDAQ, okay? If you want to get more specific on sectors, all right, you can come down here and look at these, okay? So I would basically just play around with that, and if you don't see what you want, Google it, and then make that part of your, you know, when you click on the tab down here, which is this little plus sign all the way down here, it will add another chart, and you can go into here and select a sector, and then have that always up a tab away. So like here I've got my day trading tab. Here I've got my NVIDIA tab. So they're all right next to each other, okay? So you can do it that way. There's many different ways you can do that. Cool? All right, now, the other thing I wanted to cover today, because I got a couple of emails on this, was, you know, taking a trade, all right, using the ART system. So let me just, for instance, let's just say, let me make sure this a little bit. Okay, so you know how on the chart you have, well, it's gonna be tough to draw this with a straight line, but I'll try. All right, so on the chart you have the price and the indicators at the bottom, right? So here's price up here. So price moves up like this, all right, forms like an area here. And then we get a situation where we get a triangle forming, right? This is the pyramid. So the idea is you take the trade when it goes across the point or apex of the triangle, and your stop goes down here. So knowing that information right away, remember when we talked about risk, right away you can assess the risk. If you're entering here and you're exiting here, all right, entry and then exit. So if you're entering here and exiting here, that's your risk, right? Now, the way we handle risk is we use the risk to reward calculator or the trade size calculator, depending on what you have, right? And what you do is you calculate your size, right? Your trade size. And that means how many shares or contracts, depending on what you're trading. So basically what you're doing is you're taking into account the entry and the exit that's coming up, and you're ready to go. So if you wanted to, you could put a limit order in here at a specific price, 1 or 2 ticks above the apex, with the right number of shares from this calculation here. So you're all set to go for the enter. So let's say, you know, this is a stock. Let's say it came out to 600 shares. All right. So then you want to put your stop 1 or 2 ticks under here, all right, to exit the 600 if that stop gets hit. And what will your loss be? Well, if your loss will be whatever percentage you put into the trade size calculator. So if it's 2%, that's what you're going to lose. And that 2% is based off your account size, right? So if your account size is 50,000, all right, then your 2% loss is going to be 1,000, right? So that's how you keep your losses in check. So that's step number 1 when you're taking a trade. All right, so now the next thing is we got indicators at the bottom. We have the owl. We'll start out with the owl. So, and I'll draw another line across here. The hardest part of this whole thing is drawing a straight line. All right, there it is. Okay, so there's the owl. Now, with the owl, you have a 0 line, and then you have everything above it and everything below it. So the 0 line, all right, is, and I'll try to do this again, is this straight line here on the owl. That's pretty good. I'm not done yet. All right, let me draw this across here. Hey, not bad. All right, so let's say we got the market coming up here like this, all right? And it's increasing and increasing and increasing. All right, then it kind of decreases because it pulled back a little bit. All right, now ideally, if you want to go long here, so when prices come back up and go long, you want to check a couple things here. First thing on the owls, you want to make sure this is green, bullish. All right, that's step one. All right, so I'm giving you basically a little checklist here of what to check before you take a long trade. So you want to make sure this is green, okay, before you go long. If it's red, all right, just wait, okay, don't take it. Wait, but as soon as it turns green, you can take it, provided, all right, the bottom, I'll call this the base leg because that's what we call it. The bottom here has not been penetrated. So you may see it red here. It may pull back a little bit and still be red. And then it goes positive and goes back above the apex, okay? Well, you can go long there. Now, you can even go long if it doesn't go back above the apex. All right, you can, if it's down in here, you already got an entry, right? You just couldn't take it because it was red. But if it comes down here and then starts to go and this turns green here, take it, all right? You even get a better price. And it's a blue light special. All right, so does that make sense to everybody? I know my drawing kind of not so good, but especially with the owl and the little lines down here. But can you see that? Does that make sense? So take a bullish pyramid when the owl's green. Take a bearish pyramid when it's red. And the same thing applies. Okay, I think we got it there. Okay, good. Thumbs up. Good, good, good. I like to see that. All right, now, another thing some people do, let me just erase all this, because, you know, there's many, many different scenarios in the market that can happen. And listen, while you're learning, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just do it in a simulated account, okay? You know, it's the same thing like with Apex. Everybody's so worried about having to be funded. You know, don't worry about it so much. Just figure out what works and what doesn't, and then the money will come, okay? The whole point of a simulated account is for you to learn from the mistakes of what's not working, so you stick with what is working, all right? So enjoy the process, that's the point. All right, so now, similar situation. Some people, what they do, let's say you have a situation like this, you know, you've got price bars, or these are actually owl momentum bars, but let's say you have a situation like this, you know, you've got some good, some increasing, and now we're at a point here, let me just erase this, where we're getting up close here, and it pierces here, but the owl is green, but not as high as the previous one. So it's a lower owl. Another really strict way to use the owl is it has to be green, but the price bar that exceeds the apex has to be a higher green bar, histogram bar, than the previous one, where you don't take it and you wait until it is, okay? So that's kind of important. And there's a lot of little variations on this. All right, so that's another way. And there actually is a third way. And you know which one you're going to choose? You're going to test these and see which ones match your personality, because that's really what it is. You know, there's no better brain, there's no better computer than your brain. And when you start doing this long enough, all right, you see without seeing. Okay, you look and you can see it without even thinking about it. Kind of like having a no mind. You know, in martial arts, when you get really good, you know, it's no mind. You don't think, you just react. That's what good trading is, especially day trading. You have got, it takes years to figure out what patterns, okay, are going to be good for you in your style of trading. There's some people that day trade and like to trade a half an hour and make 20 trades because they're trading inside a bar's range. Okay, it's fast, but some people like that. Okay, you got to find what works to match your personality. Other people like to catch intraday trends. So it just depends on what you like to do and what actually works for you. Same thing with position trading. But this is trend trading in position trading. All right, so now The other thing too, because we have art reversals for scalping, but this, when we use the pyramids, it's for position trading, and this is a pyramid here. So the next thing I want to go into is the third way to use the owl. So let's say the owl's coming up here, all right, and got a lot more histograms than I do price bars, sorry. All right, and at the top of, when the apex forms, we focus on that owl bar. Then let's say it comes down, maybe goes negative, and then comes back up, and on the price bar that goes above the apex for the entry, we look at this price bar, or this histogram bar, I'm sorry, and compare it to the histogram bar when the apex was hit. And if the histogram bar is less than the one we took, we don't take it. And usually that can signal a pullback. This goes negative again, then comes back up, and we kind of don't want to enter the position until we get above that. Okay, so that's even another way to use it. So I've given you 3 ways. Simple way, just wait for a green. The second way, all right, is wait for the histogram bar based on just the previous one. And the third way is this way, which is to make sure that when you go long above the apex, or whenever you go long, that the histogram bar is above the apex high, okay, in a bullish trend, and vice versa for a bearish. Any questions on that? That's the owl. All right, now, one more indicator we can throw in here to help us confirm an entry, and that's the PTF. And I'm just going to be very basic on this, because this is not, this is basically red light, green light. If the PTF is green on a bullish trade, take it. If it's yellow, you can take it. If it's red, you don't take it, no matter what the owl says. Okay, it's very simple. So the PTF is either going to be green, it's going to be yellow, or it's going to be red. One of those 3. So if you're going to take a long trade, you want that baby to be green or yellow. So yellow is neutral. All right. If you want to take a short trade, all right, it's going to have to be red or yellow. Let's grab that. So here's green, here's red or yellow, and red. So on a short trade, you can take the red or the yellow. Okay. And that's all you have to know with the PTF. So the PTF is a quick glance. All right. So try that, experiment with it, test it, and see which formula of combining the OWL, PTF, and the pyramids work best for you and your style of trading. And test it over 50 trades and see what you come up with. And you know, if you can do it in the next week, bring your results next week and see how you do, or 2 weeks, okay? So either way on how that works would be great. All right, so we've come pretty much to the end of the half an hour. Any other questions? Cliff, did I handle that okay for you? I want to make sure your question got answered. I don't see too many more questions, but I do want to make sure. Cliff, you're new, so I want to make sure you're good. Cliff, did you get connected to your Apex account okay? Make sure you let me know on that. All right, so let me see. So I think this information is going to actually, and I would create a checklist. I would say, okay, pyramids form, check. All right, I've calculated my risk, check. How's the OWL? All right, sometimes you can get all 3 conditions met. It all depends on how strict you want to be, okay? And then PTF. I usually don't trade against the PTF. All right. Very few exceptions I do, but I try not to. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's it for this week. We'll post this on the recording area, and all good there. All right, so Cliff, why is your Apex account not working yet? You mean in your NinjaTrader? Have you tried to connect it? You're using Ninja, right? Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, so with that, what you need to do is you need to go into the control panel connections here. Okay, and go to configure. Okay, here's an Apex account, and the Apex people give you an account, a username, and then give you a password. So you got to use those. Okay. And also, too, you've got to be using the latest NinjaTrader. All right, so you have to use the one where you log into. So what you would do is you would select, this was brand new, if I was just showing up, I would select NinjaTrader, okay, from the connections list. So let me start from the beginning. So go to connections, go to configure down here. All right. Then go to NinjaTrader right here. All right, then click add. And then see where it says connection name? And tell me if I'm going too fast. See where it says connection name? Rename this and just call it Apex. Okay? You don't have to use, you don't want to use Ninja, just call it Apex. All right, retype Apex in there. So do that now. And then use that username and password that was given to you by Apex for your data. And then do not check any of these boxes. This will be on simulators, leave that. And then once that's good, all right, apply, click OK, and then see if you can connect. One step I left out is select up here. You got to go to add down here before you can get into the area where you can connect stuff, okay? Let's do it together. So you go to connections, go to configure, go to NinjaTrader, click add. That brings it down here. Highlight it, change the name to Apex, all caps, for easy, whoops. Okay, and then put your username in and password. Click OK or apply or both, doesn't matter. Okay. All right, and then once that's done, you go to connections, go to Apex and try to connect. Now, if it's not working, then you're using the wrong username and password. Okay, then what I would do is log in to your Apex account. And when you log in on the far right-hand side, you'll see a username and password. Make sure you use that for logging into the Apex account, okay? And if that doesn't work, then fire off an email to Apex. It's not the username and password. It's not your password. You got to use the one they gave you, okay? It's not one you have for your overall account. It's one that's in there once you log in on the right-hand side. So you got to make sure you're using the correct username and password. That's your problem, I think. I'll bet you're using the one that you log in with or something. So go ahead and log into your Apex account. Once you're in, look on the far right. Okay. Yeah, you can't talk on this one. This one has, there's no mic capability on this thing. I'll see if I can unmute you here. Sometimes it lets me, sometimes it doesn't. I'll try that. See if you can talk.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Good.
So, I understand how to do all that now. When you showed me last time, I've done it many times. I manually typed it in, copied and pasted, all that. I am using the correct Apex account and password. I sent a message into their support. They sent me back a link to the welcome sign. I actually found something that I didn't sign or something. I updated that, but they say you had to wait like a day and a half or so. So I waited and I went back in and tried to connect again, and it still didn't work, but I didn't get back to them yet. Now I was going to get to you because I am now in week 4. So I'm getting ready to, start to
Good.
begin getting familiar with the tools and getting ready for simulation and everything. And so it's starting to become more important that I get it working.
Yeah, so couple key things here. I mean, here's my account here. So you see this? This is what you got to use for your username and password.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're using
Right.
that, that's good. If it's still not working, did you
Still.
sign the data agreement? That's separate.
I signed some things. I clicked that I was not a professional,
Okay.
things of that nature. I still must be missing something.
Yeah, there's something not right. If you're using this and you sign
Yes, I'm using
off,
that.
you should be good to go.
Right.
But that's what you want to use. So I just want to make sure you knew that.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I know how to put it in NinjaTrader now.
Okay, good. So there's something. Did you use Tradeovate or Rhythmic?
No, I use Trader.
Tradeovate. Okay, great. All right. Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward and easy. There must be a document, Cliff, you didn't sign.
Okay, I'll search for it.
That's the only thing I can think of. Now, when they sent you an email, what did they send you?
They told me to go back to the welcome page and make sure I signed all the agreements and everything.
Okay, so that's the problem. There's some agreement. Did you do that?
I went back there, but I only found one place that I didn't sign.
All right, we need to, that's your problem. You need to go back and sign all the areas, okay? Okay, so do that and shoot us an email and let us know if that solved your problem, okay?
I sure will. Thank you.
Now, once you sign it, Cliff, you might have to wait an hour or two.
Right, yeah. They actually tell you that you have to wait like a day, day and a half.
So do that today, okay?
I will.
All right, and then let us know that you're either okay or not, so we can help you.
Okay, thank you.
No, my pleasure. Good to have you aboard, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
All right, good. Good. Well, each week we'll cover a little topic here that I'm hoping will help you.
Yeah, it was a good session today. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, thanks for coming. All right, everybody. That's it for today. We'll post this recording on in the usual area. Have a great week. You know, next week we get together. I think it's July 3rd, which means day before 4th of July. Unbelievable. Time is really cooking by. All right, have a good one, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much.